let's talk about something really tough. Have you ever been told how you're supposed to feel? Or how you're supposed to grieve? You know, for anyone out there loving someone with dementia, the common wisdom might not just be unhelpful, it might actually be causing harm. So today, we're going to deconstruct a flawed emotional blueprint and then build a new one right from the ground up.
So picture this. A man is really struggling. His father has dementia, and he goes to therapy looking for some help, some guidance, and this is the advice he gets. He's told flat out that he has to wait, that the whole process of grieving, it can't even start until his father is gone.
Okay, let's really dive into that. What if that piece of advice, as well-intentioned as it might have been, is actually a system error? You know, like a glitch in the code of our understanding of grief, a piece of programming that just doesn't work for the messy, complicated reality of loving someone through dementia.
The source material for this explainer has a great name for this, in glitch in a Hoao process, or a glitch in grieving. And look, this isn't about blaming the therapist. It's more like they were running old software on a brand new operating system. It just doesn't compute. It causes a painful crash right when we need our emotional system to be running at its best.
See, the glitch tells us to wait for this one single endpoint, the moment of death. But if you're a caregiver, you know that's not your reality. The loss is happening right now, every single day. The person you've always known is changing, and that connection is changing too. To wait to acknowledge that, well, that's just denying what's right in front of you.
So let's get into the specifics. In this next part, which the source calls the flaw in the code, we're going to pop the hood and really deconstruct why this kind of linear thinking causes so much pain and frustration.
And this is so powerful when you see it laid out like this. On one side, you got the glitchy, old code, this rigid mechanical script that says grief only starts after death. But on the other side, you have the reality of how we work as human beings. Our emotional systems aren't mechanical. They're organic. They're fluid. They are literally designed to adapt as our connections change.
And there's actually a term for this whole experience. The source material uses this powerful Dutch phrase, levend verlies, which translates to ambiguous loss. And that's exactly what it is. It's the unique grief of loving someone who is right there in front of you, but also somehow not. Their body is present, but the personality you knew, is fading. Just giving it a name is the first step to being able to deal with it.
So here's the real kicker. When we follow that flawed advice and try to put off our grief, we don't actually prevent it. We just dam it up. It creates this massive emotional blockage, like a traffic jam in your soul that stops love and real connection from being able to flow. Okay, that's enough tearing things down. It's time to start building. This next section is all about what the source calls a nieuw emotional blauwdruk, a new emotional blueprint. We're going to install a whole new architecture for our hearts, one that's practical, empowering, and actually designed for the journey you're on.
And this new blueprint? It's built with 3 really powerful tools. First, we're going to talk about reprogramming our interface. That's the filter we see everything through. Then, we'll learn how to build what's called a Nexus connection, which goes way beyond words. And finally, we'll use a cool concept from NLP to pull the grieving process into the present moment, right where it belongs.
And this just illustrates the shift so brilliantly. Look, the input is the same painful reality. My father doesn't recognize me. The old code just crashes. It gives you an error message. But the new code, it allows you to hold 2 truths at the exact same time. It lets you process the grief for what's lost, while still making space to love what's right here.
All right, so now let's get really practical. This next part, the interface reset oefening, or the interface reset exercise, is a step-by-step, 4-phase process to actually install this new blueprint and finally reset your internal system. Okay, phase 1 is calibration. First things first, you have to calibrate your own system. You can't bring calm into a chaotic situation if you're feeling chaotic yourself, right? So it starts with simple, focused breathing. Place a hand on your heart, and then activate a genuine feeling of appreciation for something simple. This stabilizes your own emotional state.
Phase 2 is the rewrite. This is the heart of the whole thing. You visualize a clear screen between you and your loved one. That's your interface. On that screen, you create 2 folders. Folder A is the archive. It holds all the beautiful, precious memories of who they were. It's safe there. Folder B is the live feed, the reality of who they are in this moment. And the command, this is the key. You tell yourself, I don't need to find folder A in folder B. That simple command stops the painful, constant search for someone who isn't there anymore.
Now this next part is just brilliant. Instead of letting grief build up into this giant, overwhelming wave, you process it in tiny, manageable pieces. You name a specific loss out loud, like, "I grieve that you don't know my name." You let yourself truly feel that pain for just 10 seconds. And then, as you exhale, you visualize filing that specific grief away in Folder A, the archive. You've honored it, you felt it, and now you can come back to the present. And finally, with all that emotional static cleared away, you build a new kind of connection. You sit with your loved one and you just imagine a bridge of warmth going from your heart to theirs, completely bypassing the confusion in their mind. You silently send a simple message: "I'm here. You're safe. We are good." This isn't about having a conversation. It's about a deep, energetic connection that dementia just can't touch.
So when you start to put all these phases into practice, it's not just a coping mechanism. It builds a whole new way of being. As we see in this final section, you become the architect van het afscheid, the architect of the farewell. It's this fundamental shift from being a passive victim of the situation to being the active, compassionate designer of this journey.
So why does this all work? Well, because trying to build a relationship while you're bottling up all this grief, it's like trying to build a house on emotional quicksand. Nothing is stable. This daily practice clears out all that emotional debris and gives you solid ground to stand on, every single day. And by clearing away that debris, you make space. You open up a clean, clear pathway for those moments of pure, unfiltered connection to happen. The kind of connection that is still so possible, the kind of love that can exist right here and right now, shining right through the fog of dementia.
So, I guess this is the bottom line. This blueprint completely transforms your role. You're no longer just the victim of this slow, heartbreaking decay. You become the conscious, compassionate architect of the farewell, designing a process of love and connection that can last all the way to the very end.
Ultimately, this whole framework is about taking back control of your own emotional system. It's about choosing connection over chaos and choosing presence over pain. So, the only real question left is, which piece of that old, flawed code, which glitch in your system are you going to choose to rewrite today?